480 feet above the ground stands a 4,500-year-old pyramid. But what was hidden inside it that researchers sent a robot with a camera deep into its narrow passageways just to see it? At one point, the robotic camera suddenly stopped. In front of it was a solid stone slab. Researchers believed that behind this slab, a secret had been buried for the last 4,500 years. They were determined to uncover it at any cost, so they attached a small drill to the robot and carefully bored a hole through the stone. A tiny camera was then inserted through the opening, and what it captured was a sight no human eyes had seen in 4,500 years. Welcome back. In Egypt, there are a total of 138 pyramids. For thousands of years, they have survived dozens of earthquakes and violent storms, yet not a single one has shifted from its place. The largest and tallest of them all is the Great Pyramid of Giza. Its base covers about 13 acres, large enough to fit nearly 9 football fields inside it. Altogether, the pyramid weighs about 6 million tons, roughly equal to 12 Burj Khalifas. But why were such enormous and magnificent structures built in the first place? Thousands of years ago, when humans had no modern tools, how were these walls leveled inch by inch with such perfection? How were 50-ton stones cut into precise square shapes? Today we begin with challenge number 1. For centuries, research teams have struggled to understand how the pyramid's 4 sides were aligned so perfectly with north, south, east, and west without the use of a compass. Many experts believe that ancient architects first selected ground strong enough to support millions of tons of weight. Then, using circumpolar stars, they carefully marked each side of the pyramid. Challenge number 2. Leveling the ground. The 13 acres of land on which the pyramid stands had to be perfectly level. Even a slight tilt would have made it impossible to support 2.3 million stones. Without laser levelers, experts believe the Egyptians may have dug trenches around the construction site and filled them with water. By matching the water levels, they could identify uneven ground. Some experts also suggest they used a simple leveling tool, 2 wooden posts connected by a crossbar, with a string and a stone hanging from the center. If it aligned, the surface was level. Challenge number 3. Cutting the stones. Millions of tons of stone were required, but the ancient Egyptians had no grinders or modern cutting machines. So how did they shape 50-ton blocks? Experts believe they used copper chisels reinforced with arsenic to increase hardness. After hours, sometimes days of labor, massive stones were shaped into perfect blocks. Challenge number 4. Transportation. Much of the limestone used in the pyramid was quarried about 250 kilometers away in Tura. Each block weighed up to 50 tons. With no trucks or heavy machinery, how were these stones transported? The answer: the Nile River. The Egyptians loaded the massive stones onto large wooden boats. Loading and unloading a single shipment likely required hundreds of workers operating together in perfect coordination. Challenge number 5. Lifting the stones. Once the stones reached the site, the greatest mystery remained. How were they raised nearly 480 feet into the air? Many believe ramps were constructed. One thing is certain. Thousands of workers pulled these 50,000-kilogram blocks upward using ropes, sledges, and sheer human strength. Challenge number 6. The inner chambers. The pyramid isn't just a solid structure. Inside are corridors, chambers, and narrow shafts. What stunned researchers most: the inner chambers were made of granite. Granite is one of the hardest natural stones on Earth, so how did they cut it 4,500 years ago? Experts concluded that they used a toothless copper saw and abrasive sand. But the biggest question still remains: why were the pyramids built? And when that robotic camera finally peered beyond the stone slab, what exactly did it see? You'll discover all of that and more in part 2. Thank you for your incredible support and comments. We'll meet again in the next extraordinary chapter.